Well guys, it's been a few days since the PS4 announcement and the dust has settled, so I think now it's finally time to start looking at things more critically. On Wednesday night, after the Sony event of the PS4 reveal, I did a live show where I went through every single aspect of the event, and I touched upon pretty much everything. So if you guys want to see a full, comprehensive breakdown of everything that went down, I'm not going to talk about that here. You guys can check out my recording of the live show here. But for now, the rampant excitement has settled. I'm not as, super hyped as I was, so I wanted to sit back and really look at things and talk about some issues that people are concerned with, and talk about things that are very exciting and promising. First, let's talk about the huge social and sharing aspects for the PS4. I'm not going to go into everything, but Sony really emphasized sharing with the PS4 in terms of instantly recording and streaming gameplay, sharing gameplay clips with your friends, joining in, taking over your friend's game to help him or her beat apart. A lot of different things you can do, and this is making people feel very divided about this. The fact that there is actually a button on the new PS4 DualShock 4 controller, a dedicated share button, really is showing people that this is going to be a serious component of the console. And a lot of people don't really care about it. From what I've seen, it's like a 50-50 split. Obviously social integration and social networking is the next big thing and everyone's doing it, but a lot of gamers are antisocial and a lot of gamers just want to play their games and be left alone. I'm sort of in the middle. As someone who, puts their face out there and says things, I'm kind of okay with sharing. They haven't fully outlined their new social network type of thing on the PSN, so I'm curious to see what Sony's going to talk about with that next. That being said, the sharing and streaming tech behind this whole thing and the software is very impressive, and for it to all work as it's promised will be quite an accomplishment and something that is truly, I think, revolutionary and next-gen. While the PS4 will have an optical Blu-ray drive, and it is pretty much certain that it will play used games, people are still very concerned about the backwards compatibility and the previous PSN download issue. I think this is a huge issue. The amount of money I've spent on PSN games, I've downloaded PS1 classics, I've downloaded PS3 games, I've downloaded all those awesome indie games like Journey and The Unfinished Swan and stuff like that. And the fact that I apparently won't be able to play that on the PS4 is a big problem. I do think Sony has to get their shit together with that. Gaikai is confident that eventually this will happen, but it's like a what if with a third-party cloud streaming technology. I don't think that should be a what if right now, or like an uncertainty. You should be able to play your PSN downloads without a doubt. Backwards compatibility is something I have been able to swallow. You don't play your N64 games on your Wii. You can't. I mean, you can download some now. But, it's just a natural progression of things that I'm finally okay with. But digital cloud downloads, that you've spent a lot of money on, that you've built up in your account, the importance, the stressing of cloud and digital, that is kind of almost a step backwards that you can't play that on the PS4. And a lot of people out there, and especially talking heads on YouTube, are seriously butthurt about them not showing an actual physical body of a console. You don't understand how much that doesn't really matter. I mean, as much as it's exciting and it's part of the fanfare, and to see the thing rise up out of the ground with the console, with the controller, it doesn't matter right now. It's been like that for a while. I do remember the Wii U not really emphasizing what the body would look like, so I'm kind of used to it. And really, what do we expect from it? It's going to be black, it's going to have a Blu-ray drive, it's going to have HDMI ports, it's going to have USB. Hopefully it'll have USB 3.0. But really, I'm not losing sleep over that. Thankfully, they showed us what's most important, the games. And I am actually very confident in Sony's lineup of games and the emphasis on an easy architecture for developers to develop on, by developers and stuff like that. While that is kind of marketing speak, the core architecture and the x86 processor with the 8 GB of RAM does make the PS4 a very more clear-cut thing to develop for, unlike the PS3, which was notoriously tricky to develop for. And I am incredibly excited for the games that they showed off, except for that really unimpressive one in the beginning, Knack, which kind of just seems like a tech demo. The first game you show off for your brand new system shouldn't be unimpressive. It should be like, oh my god, PlayStation 4. But that's besides the point. I'm really excited for Infamous. Watch Dogs made me cry tears of joy. Killzone is obviously awesome. Drive Club is doing some interesting social things and a first-person cockpit view only, which I think is very interesting. And the fact that there is Vita controller integration with this kind of kills the Wii U. And speaking of the Wii U, while the PS4 event does have a lot of pros and cons, I think the overall excitement and fanfare totally beat out anything Nintendo has done in a while. I want to get rid of this stupid thing now. I just want to throw it in the garbage. I'm not going to throw it because it is really expensive. And it is coming out holiday 2013, which of course, for those of you that kind of follow this thing, that pretty much means November of next year. And is that too soon? For me, it feels a little too soon. With The Last of Us coming out and Grand Theft Auto, it does feel a little too soon for comfort, but I'm still very excited. There is obviously no price point yet, but I'm thinking around the ballpark of $500 anymore, and I think Sony will be shooting themselves in the foot once again like they did with the PS3 originally. But that's about it. That's what I'm thinking with the PS4. What are you guys thinking? What games are you most excited for? What do you think they're going to show off at E3? What do you think they're really going to focus upon, and what games do you think they're going to show that we haven't seen yet? I think it's an exciting time that's like next generation. Although I don't think all of us are convinced that we need a next generation yet, this is still very exciting. So let's share our excitement and our skepticism in the comments. And, you know, if you guys like hearing me talk about video games, if this is your first time here, you can subscribe because video games.